Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back. I hope my mic is working. Yes. So today we've got a drop, evidently. We're at a critical zone. We're at that zone of 105,000, which I mentioned would be where we would meet with our first resistance, of course, after breaking pivot level. I was mentioning yesterday that the uptrend was getting a little weaker. We evidently did see some altcoins get ahead of themselves in terms of switching over to a bearish trend while looking at the super trend. We saw that happen with XRP. We saw that happen with, I think it was either Litecoin or Cardano. We'll go confirm right now. I'm pretty sure it was Cardano. It was Cardano. Unless this happened today. I'm a liar then. It was XRP and something else. Probably Solana. Solana just happened today. It was something. I don't remember what. What is going on with Sui? Sui is about to flip bearish. A lot of these are either have already flipped bearish or will be doing so soon. Now, the altcoins, of course, will do this first because they're much more volatile than Bitcoin specifically. Most of them are. And they usually get ahead of themselves. When Bitcoin drops a small percentage, everything else drops double that percentage. You'll notice Bitcoin dropping 2%, everything else is 4, 5, almost 6%, right? In most cases, even up to triple. So there's a bit of the overreaction in that sense, which is fine. Now, we do have some fundamentals as to why this is happening. As of right now, Asian markets have opened and they are opening bearish. That's one of the first reasons. Second reasons is what I shared yesterday, actually. The whole thing about the court blocking Trump tariffs, that was pretty bullish, and we took advantage of that in the morning. But right after that, of course, like it wasn't too long after that first announcement was made that the courts were going to stop Trump's tariffs because it was unconstitutional or whatever. First of all, why wait until now to start announcing that while we're in the middle of negotiating with these countries? Right now, the countries, they will see this and say, oh, the United States was never serious about putting all these tariffs on us, and they'll ultimately have to refund us for all these tariffs. So we don't have to negotiate with the United States, and we'll keep charging them these absurd tariffs like we were back in Liberation Day, right? Because that was the whole point of it. They were going to undo what happened on Liberation Day, April 2nd, when all of those reciprocal tariffs were announced. We've already made billions of dollars in revenue from that, and all of that would have to be refunded. It's like the tariff stuff never happened. It's like this April 2nd, it's like this Black Monday drop never happened, right? So that's why market was beginning to rejoice a little bit. I need some tea. And while we were on our way up, Trump filed an appeal to that, and they ultimately deemed, okay, we're going to keep these tariffs ongoing until further notice for now. So we're back to square one, basically. The tariffs are still on, right? And the effect is still there. Which I also did mention. Short term, it would be good for the markets, right? Long term as well. In terms of if this court thing actually went through. Sorry, I misspoke then. If the court thing went through, it would be good short term because that means no more tariffs. Tariffs don't exist anymore, and markets can continue rallying because markets are currently going up because of the pause on most tariffs, right? And even some negotiations that happened with a couple of countries. But long term, though, this is not what the United States wants. They want to improve their economy. They want everything to be fair. That's the reason why the tariffs were put in the first place. So it's not going to be good for the US dollar. US dollar in that sense has weakened, and every other asset, of course, has risen against it for that reason. But now that this tariff stuff will continue as per normal, US dollar will strengthen because we know long-term tariffs are good for the United States economy. And what we're seeing with like the assets, of course, is a sell-off because US dollar gets strengthened while other assets like Bitcoin or whatever you're putting it up against will go decrease in value from that. So that's what we're currently seeing. So my best explanation for why we're seeing a drop over here. All right. This is a short position just from a bonus. Doesn't matter. No big deal. $100, 5x, 500 total trading volume. I'm eating up $5 in fees already, which is just absurd. I don't like perpetual futures for that reason, but I feel like I'm going to have to use it anyway. A couple of reasons why. It has more asset availability than standard futures. I'm just talking specifically about this being X broker, or the exchange, rather. So there's that, and then there's also more functionality in here, better way to view and manage trades. I believe you can see them all in one position rather than everything separate, right? I think the prices average out for based off what I'm trying to do with my new strategy that I've built up in my brain. I still have to drag some dollars in here soon. I have to do so much reviewing the previous transactions that I did when I had it running on the bot, because there's some stuff that was not, I don't know if it wasn't calculated properly based off of what I have written down, because the math is not adding up compared to what I've done in terms of trading versus the actual balances that I have. Maybe there's some hidden fees that I'm not seeing or whatever. Maybe I've mistyped something. I have to go and double check that. So that'll hopefully be all ready by tomorrow. Anyways, so this is the analysis that we currently have. We are in a danger zone for Bitcoin. Sure, if you're talking about jeopardizing the uptrend in that sense, yes. But I'd still say, like, bull run is over? No, definitely not. And we still got a long way to go upwards. There are some people, of course, who are currently rejoicing because they claim to have called this is the Bitcoin cycle top. We're not going any higher than this. Maybe, right? But no, I still feel there's still strong fundamentals. Alt season never happened yet. That still has to happen. And honestly, this is just a bit of a shakeout because of that tariff situation once again. Unfortunately, we are still suffering from that. But that's all. Realistically, though, I'd be content with a drop, right? I'm not saying I would accumulate down here, but if you really don't have anything and you want to get started, could it be a good area to start considering small position entries? Of course, buying Bitcoin at 100,000, in my opinion, is just so absurd, and I would never do that. Under 100,000, even like at 90,000s, Bitcoin's unappealing to me to purchase. I have not sold anything that I have purchased since this drop down over here, albeit I didn't purchase too much, but it's still something, right? Not as much as I would have wanted. And my target still stands at, that is fake, 135,000. The fib extension level, and a lot of analysts have also pointed to 130k approximately. 120k guaranteed, 130k is a big target for many, and for like this actual cycle's top, people are expecting like 170, 180k. So we shall see. In the meantime, I did do a short position because I feel like we will be getting some volatility, right? Even tomorrow we will be getting PCE inflation data. Today we had GDP data, which came in favorable for the markets. Where is 8 o'clock here, 29? Well, no, we actually dropped. I'm pretty sure we had a good reading, though, nonetheless. Like, the inflation wasn't as bad as expected, but ultimately no change in the percentages that we're seeing for rate cut chances. So, yeah, I guess ultimately market is waiting for either the data that comes out tomorrow, or next week we're getting also non-farm payroll data. We could get, it's just maybe low volatility while we expect or wait until that. Now, also today we have Bitcoin conference. Not much revolutionarily speaking was mentioned there, so everything is still as normal as it is. I saw a lot of people posting around on the internet that they had a lot of fun, so that was good, and a lot of good positive comments all the way, right? Nothing too crazy, nothing too negative, so that was decent. Let's see what happens with this uptrend. I am mildly concerned. Not really, though. Where is the other point? Oh, I have it over here locked. That's why. Let me... I mean, is there even a point in readjusting this? Probably not. We do have a new... I guess you can see a new downtrend that is beginning to form. Very, very young new downtrend, you could say. You could argue. We should see a slowdown nonetheless at around 102,000 if this drop does continue. Maybe this is just the bottom because this is an important resistance, right? If that is the case, we could just easily readjust whatever uptrend we have to where the bounce goes up from, if it starts heading back upwards. But I'm preparing for more likely a scenario like this for now, for this week. I still think next week, hopefully, we'll continue rallying up. M2 global supply still points to things heading upwards. So yeah, there you go. RSI is not fully oversold yet, so don't count this drop out. Another 2% drop could be expected, in my opinion. Let's move on to another asset. Ethereum is down 4.34%. Current price is $2,593, dropping from a nice high of $2,788. It started rising as soon as I ended my stream last night, and I saw the news as to why. We'll get into more details about that later, because I'd have to search for where specifically that news is, and I have so many tabs open. There's a lot of stuff to cover tonight, so we'll get there when we get there. Ethereum is actually relatively far from its invalidation zone from its uptrend. I mean, technically it does have these two drawn out over here. It did have a sharp increase in price and has maintained itself relatively well, I'll give it credit, right? That invalidation zone, we're looking at 2,425 approximately. Current support that we should expect a drop to would be right over here, 2,520. It seems like the majority of the drop was eaten up already from the rise that we had last night. So it's not as impactful, right? We're not making new lows like most of the other assets are. In this case, let's have a look at Solana. We're reaching the same low that we saw over here at 160. Support line seems to be what this is. We are very close to invalidating this uptrend right over here. If the 4-hour candle closes below this, you should see the super trend flip bearish. But right now, price has dipped below, but it's come back up a little bit. So we're not fully there yet. The next support for Solana, of course, after breaking 162, would drop down to 157. If not, and we, like I said, we do a recovery, similarly to what I explained with Bitcoin, just a readjustment of the uptrend should do something like that, and we should still be fine, hopefully. But I don't like this little wick that we got over here. You know, could signify, even if we do recover a little bit, we could just easily go back and search this zone because we've already dipped our feet in here, so to speak. So pretty likely that we should go search for that zone once again, although I wouldn't like it. It's likely going to happen. Down 5.58%, and the price is 163, if I did not mention that yet. Now let's move on to XRP, which that is one of the assets we saw last night already flipping bearish, which ultimately led it to drop, losing the 230, which was very unfortunate, all the way down to this support level at $2.12. Has recovered its drop from there, and it's currently hovering at $2.18, but this drop is very fresh. I think we can maintain this support level for a while, because next up we're looking at $2. Now, this would be a good DCA opportunity if you don't have any XRP loaded up. I think, you know, once we become oversold around here on the RSI level, should be around this zone, would be a great point for entry. I myself would consider entering on that, even on my main account. But this downtrend has been forming for a while. While others were continuing to rise or stay lateral, XRP has actually not been able to rise much further. It's kind of lost its you know, momentum, its power. So it did become one of the first to flip bearish on the super trend levels, right? I will draw a downtrend from here. I know that's not right. I think that's good. Yeah. So that's what we got so far for XRP. No more uptrend. This one broken. I'll keep it drawn still just so I can have it for reference. Now we're just looking for support levels. Like I said, the current one is $2.12. Next one is $2. Psychological level coincides with support, coincides with fib. So we should see how that works out. In terms of breakouts, I mean, resistance will still be at 230 as per usual. But yeah, I don't know. Depends on where this 4-hour candle closes, really, right? All right, we shall move on. SUI is $3.42, down 5.44%. I went long on here on a bonus position on standard futures. They don't charge you much fees there. It's simpler. And with this bonus stuff that BingX offers you, they say like, oh, you're not allowed to, you know, use two positions at once to hedge each other. But you technically can. If you put one bonus order on perpetual futures and the other one in standard futures, you can short one, long the other. Wherever the market heads, up or down, you'll make a couple cents either way. It's not even that much money. It's a couple cents. So it's whatever. It covers a portion of the large commissions that you pay. They're not large. I'm just exaggerating, but you get the point. Now, SUI's about to break the support level. If we do close the 4-hour chart below this 340, right? And then we should seek our support 1. So I'm not too concerned with SUI. We can still drop over here another 5% at 322 and still bounce up, because this uptrend, I was more confident in believing that, yes, this is the one that will maintain us upright for this bull cycle. If we break this one, I will be a little bit more concerned. Right now, I'm still fine with SUI. Even if the super trend flips bearish temporarily, like this, if price goes over here, I'm expecting a bounce over here, and then we, test this resistance once again, and ultimately break out of that, making super trend bullish once again as we follow through with this uptrend. That's at least what I'm hoping to see in my little tiny brain. $4 remains the major resistance, so it's going to take a while for us to continue rising until we reach that once again. We should get new pivot levels by then. For now, it's looking like this was a good resistance that we had at 371. But yeah, for now, support, watch out for this zone. Would I consider an entry there? Maybe. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. It's a bit scary, because, like, I know how far down SUI can drop. Like, we've seen it $1.70 something. And that, I mean, if we do drop below there, which it's very unlikely for this to happen, but that's a 50% drop. Even with 3x leverage, you will get liquidated. Even with 2x leverage, you will get liquidated. So there's that risk if you want to do it. I mean, use a stop loss if you really care. But yeah, that would be what my suggestion is. Not suggestion. I don't suggest anything. My ideas. You do your own ideas and your own suggestion. And come up with your own conclusions. Maybe inspired by me, but not influenced by me. If that makes sense. Moving on. Litecoin is down 5%. Current price is $91.40, and I think I just got a trigger order entered right around this area. It's in profit right now, I assume. It's on my other account. That'll be good. I'll go review that later. And uptrend is very, very dangerously close to breaking. Similar thing to what we're seeing with SUI and Bitcoin, right? Is there much else to say here? I mean, we would be considered oversold. If the uptrend does invalidate, of course, that would mean us dropping below $90. We would be oversold. And I think that would be a great entry. I feel like this downtrend that we're experiencing, it's just going to be very temporary. Temporary, but necessary. Oh man, I don't even know which downtrend to pay attention to. There's like a couple we could draw here that could absolutely be valid. It's good to have it drawn though, so you can get an idea as to where could be breakouts, resistances, and, large volatility movements that you could expect from those breakouts up to what area. It would help down over here. That's why I'm drawing these right now. I know it seems like a lot of lines, but trust the process, okay? After that, we're looking at 85, 86, 87 as another support level. If worse comes to worse, if we do break the $90, watch out for this zone. Is the 87 even that valid anymore? Maybe. Like, it's kind of worked as resistance and support in the past. I have drawn this out over here. I would say 87 is a safe point. Like, below 87. Like, around this area. This 1% range. That's a good area to DCA, honestly. And then, of course, below here would also be a banger option if you're able to. We bounced over here, right? So, there you have, what do you call it? Like an voucher that we could possibly, not a guarantee, but like a very high chance we could instant bounce. If worst comes to worst and Litecoin does see a significant drop, we should be able to bounce from $80. And Cardano, our last worthless coin, dropping 6% at 70 cents currently, reaching a low of 68 cents, slowing down at the support level. I have another support level important at 67 cents. I feel like that's where it should. I feel like we are going to continue to see just like a drop. We are currently slowing down with the drop, but like overnight, it's just going to continue lower, and we can maybe see a slowdown around this zone. Most of the altcoins that I shared already will already have their super trends flipped bearish, and I'm hoping we do stay bearish at least for a little bit, maybe for this remainder of this week and the weekend. Why? Because I am pretty biased. I am shorting some positions, and they've gone very against me so far. So I need those to come back down. And if Bitcoin go down, everything go down. That's the altcoin morale. Nothing ever goes against it. Well, maybe one odd coin will do the opposite, but in most scenarios, it's pretty similar to what we're seeing right now. So yeah, that's the update. That's what we have for Bitcoin for now. I always like 20 minutes worth of analyzing the markets every time. Anyways, let's get to our news, the important stuff. This is the biggest headline so far, that Elon Musk has officially parted ways from the Trump administration. Thank you for your service, Elon. Reminder, this guy did not get paid a dime. Rather, he lost a lot of money in his Tesla stock, in his Tesla dealerships. A lot of people, of course, attacking him for this kind of stuff, for finding fraud in the government, literally. Like, come on. But anyways, I wanted to... What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to show Tesla stock. Has it changed at all because of this news? I'm assuming it is bullish for Tesla, because that means, yes, our leader is finally back. And effectively 27th of May, 28th, 29th of May. This is a increase of 4%. And then we've decreased 2% after that. So I guess the markets took it pretty well. Something is wrong with this chart, man. Like, it's... Okay. How can you do this? I didn't know you could... Okay, I just have this photo of NVIDIA for some reason. That's pretty funny. What I'm trying to look for is, like, show me... Okay. Previous day close. Pre-post market. Can I take that out? No, I think I do need this. That is necessary. Highs and lows, bid and ask, you don't care about. Canvas. Previous day, like, this is not, unless they updated trading view, like, this is horrible to look at. Just two, like, it used to show me more details. What if I go to, like, a smaller time frame, honestly? A 15-minute time frame. Yeah, this makes more sense. Okay, 28th of May, this illustrates what I'm trying to explain a little better. We were down here at 356. Tesla rose the next day to 363, reaching a high of 367. So it was good news. And then, of course, over the course of the day, things kind of decayed with that news flow that I'm sharing with you guys, right? So, yeah, that's what people are rejoicing about who have Tesla, is the fact that Elon Musk can now give his full focus and attention toward improving the company, making things better. So, yeah, investors are a little happy. Because even when it was rumored that this happened before, like, it was a fake news rumor that Elon Musk was quitting, and the same thing happened. Tesla rose like 3% immediately upon that news. And then they're like, no, it was fake news. Sorry, he's still going to be there. He's just going to work less times a week, right? But now he's just fully quitting. So he will be gone. And Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social, saying that he will have a press conference with Elon Musk at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, saying that it will be his last day at the Oval Office. But not really, because he will always be with us, helping all the way, is what he said. Elon is terrific. See you tomorrow at the White House, is ultimately the end of that. All right. And here's his parting words as well. As my scheduled time as a... Yeah, I read that right. As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. The Doge mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government. Great. And now people are questioning, why did Elon Musk leave? They're speculating that it's probably because, you know, Elon Musk was not a fan of Trump's big, beautiful bill in terms of the tax cuts that he was proposing, saying that it wasn't going to be enough, or it was inadequate, or didn't fully capture what he envisioned, I guess is what the case was. There's no confirmation of that. Either way, the White House says that there will be no increase in the deficit under President Trump's tax bill, unlike other people's concern, I guess, maybe Elon Musk included. Recent estimates have suggested the bill would increase the U.S. deficit by $3.8 trillion. And of course, that just goes against what Doge stands for, right? We don't want the U.S. deficit to continue increasing. So, you know, that's the little drama, I guess, if you really want to call that. So, let's talk about this reciprocal tariff stuff. What is next? After they were struck down by the court, if the Court of International Trade's ruling on reciprocal tariffs is upheld, all the tariffs that were collected since April 2nd would have to be refunded. This is what I was explaining about earlier. Based on the calculations, which assumes 2024 levels of US imports, it would roughly be $10 billion of tariff revenue that would have to be refunded. And it includes the 10% baseline tariff on all countries, as well as the higher rates imposed on select countries, for example, China. Speaking of China, the US would owe them a refund of roughly $3.5 billion if it was $10 billion in total, right? That is a significant portion. That's 35% of it belonging to China. A refund of that money, which would suck. Maybe this is also why Elon Musk is leaving. No, probably not, but it's still pretty funny to think about. Like, all his work just gone to waste, right? Like, what's the point of trying to save money when, you know, we can't even make any money because our own government turns against us? Like, the court, like, come on. Why? Why are you doing this? Meanwhile, the Trump administration said they'll already be filing an appeal, and this is a new era of the trade war that is evolving just backwards. And here's a chart representation of what happens. This is what the court says would have to be refunded if that is the case. This is the revenue, which is like, yeah. And maybe, okay, it would be bullish short term but bad for the US economy long term, right? That's what my point was. The appeals court, they've conceded to this. They temporarily halt ruling against the Trump tariff. Federal Circuit Court says it needs time to consider filings. So the appeals court allows Trump tariffs to stay in effect for now. That's ultimately why we're seeing a drop right now. It's because we thought tariffs were going to be fully gone, but tariffs are still going to be a thing for now. Until they find some way to, I don't know, negotiate between themselves now. But obviously Trump is not going to give up, and this has a lot of people concerned, or I guess, you know, wondering what's just going to happen next, right? He posted this image as well on Truth Social saying, you know, a picture of himself walking down the street saying he is on a mission from God and nothing can stop what is coming. But can we talk about this? Do you guys see the Pepe? Like this, right? Come on. Like, come on. This is a real post, by the way. And why is Pepe here? Has Pepe even been impacted by this? I'm curious to see. Pepe USDT dot P. Do we have it here? On Bing X. That's not it. It's not right. Oh, it's 1000 Pepe, that's why. Well, we have a drop. Unless it's this? No. Well, maybe it was this, right? He posted that at 10 p.m., right? 10:32 p.m., which is 22 o'clock. Yeah, literally this. So Pepe did see a surge in price of about 5% after Trump tweeted this photo. I don't even know if this was intentional or not. Like, why? Why would you include Pepe in the background? Like, obviously you're gonna pump Pepe's price. That's pretty funny. But it's already erased all those gains and actually dropped much further. It's, pretend there's like 3 more zeros in front of this 0, and that's the current price of Pepe, 0012. Alright. Interesting stuff. And yeah, as I was mentioning, this is the sentiment of the market. People are bearish. There's no way that Trump just sits back and doesn't unleash his fury against this court. Maybe he just doubles down on the tariffs. He finds some way to, you know, continue the tariff stuff and maybe even, you know, with vengeance, with a more harder fist. I don't know how to explain it, but I hope you get the point, right? If I tomorrow doesn't tweet. Alright, cool. Well, we shall see. We have no confirmation as to what's going to happen. But this is ultimately the response. The White House responding to tariffs says it is not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. And also the economic advisor, Hassett, says that President Trump does have different options on tariffs. Seems like they were prepared, or they have like an ace up their sleeve. Something they're planning, right? We don't know exactly what it is yet. He's also saying that the judge's decision on tariffs will be overturned, further reinforcing the idea of, yes, these tariffs will still happen, right? We're not going to let some random judges in a court tell us what to do, is ultimately their sentiment, right? That's what the market's taking it as. Okay, tariffs will continue and markets drop. Federal Chair Jerome Powell, this is interesting. He actually met with President Trump today at the White House for the first time. Wait, what? The first time they met? Is this the first time that they met? I guess it is. I don't know. Who knows what they discussed? Was anything happened? I do want to check if Grok has any other information on this, because that is interesting, right? There's a lot of talking smack between the two. We'll see if anything came of it. So it did happen today. It is the first meeting in Trump's second term. Okay, good, because they have met before. I mean, this guy was appointed by Trump, but anyway. There is tensions over monetary policy as Trump pushes for interest rate cuts to boost economic growth. That is ultimately what Trump wants. But Powell, who has led the Fed since 2018 and was renominated by Biden in 2022, emphasized the Fed's independence, asserting that decisions would be based on economic data, like the 4.25 to 4.50% policy rate, unchanged since December 2024, and it was not political pressure, right? We know that Trump has a history of criticizing Powell, including during his first term when he opposed rate hikes, reflects a broader conflict over the Fed's role, with studies like those from the Fed's May 2025 minutes showing uncertainty around tariffs and inflation impacting the policy. This is what happened yesterday, right? Still uncertainty. We're still going to wait. Nothing burger is what came out of it, so we shall see. Bloomberg reports that investors are selling their gold for Bitcoin. This also was an idea further reinforced by people at the Bitcoin conference confirming this idea, Cynthia Loomis, JD Vance. And we are, this is ultimately bullish, right? This is ultimately what we wanted. I wanted the US to do this as well, sell off your gold, buy Bitcoin, but it's a bit too late for that now. Hey, GameStop isn't stopping though. Like they actually purchased Bitcoin just yesterday. And I also forgot to check their chart. I do want to review it real quick now that I have this. It was announced yesterday morning, 28th of May. I don't know. Was it this one? This shows a down percentage of 3%. When did they announce that they purchased Bitcoin? It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. This was the jump. So they went from here to here, a 7% rise after they announced that they will be adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, which was good. Good for GameStop. It's already erased all those gains by now, but you get the point. Very cool. The only downside for, selling your gold for Bitcoin is it's just such a very minor thing that could be a major thing. It's the, quantum computing. I explained a little bit about this yesterday. The Google warning that quantum computers could crack Bitcoin much faster than expected because Bitcoin is just meant to be mined with the current technology that we have right now. What if in the future we develop quantum technology and it just obliterates, the whole mining industry? We'd have all the 21 million Bitcoins very fast, but also everything else could collapse with it, right? And that's when people would rather hold gold instead of Bitcoin, the digital gold, because, I don't know. I don't think the value of it will decrease anyway. It just defeats the whole purpose of mining, I guess, is the danger of it. Okay, so Google's latest quantum computing research just blew a hole in old encryption timelines. It now estimates that a quantum machine with fewer than 1 million noisy qubits could break 2048-bit RSA encryption in under a week. That's 20 times faster than previous forecasts. And it could impact everything from bank accounts to Bitcoin wallets. So yeah, like I mentioned, it's not just Bitcoin. It's not like quantum computing is the antichrist of Bitcoin. Like it's going to affect everything else, like even bank accounts, the main thing as well. You're going to get your password cracked instantly, right? With quantum computing. But the good news is that they're not ready yet. But they are getting stronger fast. I guess that's the bad news. I mean, do we really want this? I don't know. They're going to have to find a way to like quantum proof password cracking, right? Literally this term, I wasn't even looking at that. But crypto may still be safe today, but the race to quantum proof the system is no longer optional. Google has already started encrypting Chrome traffic accordingly. Interesting. Combined with everything else happening right now, the only safe trades are hard assets, such as gold, is what some people are saying. Um, Pretty sure this was also talked about in the Bitcoin conference with Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff is major gold enthusiast, right? He doesn't like Bitcoin as much. He would rather hold gold, like the physical gold. But I mean, you just got to go as far back as 2009. Bitcoin was a penny, gold was $1,000 probably. And look where everything has risen now. Gold, I mean, gold is still 3,000, we'll give it 500, and Bitcoin is at $100,000 plus, right? Oh, obviously digital gold better. Maybe short term, who knows, right? Anyways, that's my take on that. This was also mentioned at the Bitcoin conference while we're at it. Pakistan's government reportedly is planning to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is kind of being alluded to. They're getting help from CZ and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. They said that they are holding Bitcoin. They will never sell them. Another country joins the, the Bitcoin pile, I guess, if you want to call it. We've already got a couple countries in there. Bhutan, Saudis, I think, United Arab Emirates. I don't remember which Middle Eastern country. Pakistan's there now. We have El Salvador. We have United States. Did I say Bhutan yet? And probably some other irrelevant country. Maybe in Africa somewhere. Yeah, so it's looking good so far. We're also getting a $300 million XRP strategic reserve soon. There's a company called China's Weebus International Limited. They have just announced a $300 million strategic financing plan to acquire XRP, aiming to establish a reserve and integrate XRP blockchain into its global expansion. It is good. I mean, XRP would be a good alternative to Bitcoin for strategic reserve assets because we know XRP is relatively safe, it's secure, it could be, I guess, a good competitor to Bitcoin if, a lot of people start looking for other options out of Bitcoin. They usually wouldn't go to Litecoin. How many people have you heard of with a silver strategic reserve? Does that even exist, silver strategic reserve? I'm talking about this for Litecoin, right? A digital silver, I don't think people would use Litecoin as a strategic reserve. Maybe as an alternative to the digital gold, to Bitcoin. But in these cases, if you're looking for an actual strategic reserve, the only other better option other than Bitcoin would be XRP. And we're seeing this adoption happening more and more. I showed a couple of companies in the past already that have adopted this strategy. There's also other companies that are just doing straight up Bitcoin itself as their strategic reserve. So it's just being adopted by institutions and governments as I showed. So it's looking good. Ripple's Hidden Road launches an OTC crypto swap in the US, opening institutional access to cash-settled trades across major digital assets. More adoption, more ways to acquire OTC. Very good. And yeah, I did want to talk about this because it was pretty funny. All right, thank you for follow. So, there was this post that came out of Circle, provider of USDC. They have frozen $58 million in USDC after the U.S. court order requested by Berwick Law, which targeted Hayden Davis, Kelsier, Ben Chow, Meteora, and others. They froze their assets, right? If you don't remember who this guy Hayden Davis is, he's the guy responsible behind the failed Argentinian meme coin, Libra token, that was a pump and dump. And same thing with Melania coin. This guy has all the money from, although he wasn't directly involved in, pulling the trigger, I guess, of rug pulling everyone, but everything went into his account because he was the one that helped launch the coin. He was just the one that launched it. He wasn't necessarily part of the team, was his defense on things. And people are saying, okay, well, you have the money. I think it was originally $100 million. It seems like he paid some of it back to only his buddies or something, or maybe he moved the rest somewhere else. I don't know the details on it. But $58 million is what he has currently in USDC. And Circle can just freeze your assets, which was something new that I've learned. I didn't know. I thought it was a decentralized thing. But hey, if a regulated government mandates Circle to freeze a person's assets, this is literally what you could do with this with a bank account. So it defeats the purpose of decentralization practically, right? This caused a bit of FUD. But USDC can freeze their token in any wallet on any chain. It's how their USDC smart contract works. Most chains, apart from Bitcoin and Ethereum, can freeze or drain any wallet of its funds. That is crazy. And we also see this exact example with Sui, right? The Cetus hacker wallet, they had the access to freeze those assets, right? And they are currently holding a vote as to what do we do with these funds, chat? Do we give it back to the community, or do we just, I don't know what the other option was, just dispose of them, I suppose. But like, sure, it makes the hackers not hack, I guess, or undo their hack, the damage of their hack, but it also defeats the purpose of decentralization, right? I don't know. It's a bit sketchy. But yeah, that's what happens. And this is a funny post that they posted this someday, like, if someone is new to USDC, what's one thing that they should know? This guy, Magu, shout out, posted this, that Circle can freeze any USDC without a court order at will. And they deleted their post. So that was pretty funny. They got caught being centralized, I guess. And remember, of course, Circle from USDC, they will be releasing their IPO. They will be releasing on the stock market as well. Just their own shares. And BlackRock will acquire 10% of that. That is crazy. BlackRock is everywhere. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't know. They're a multi-trillion-dollar asset company, so what can you expect? Telegram also will be raising a $1.5 billion bond deal. They expect to include investors like BlackRock, Mubadala, and Citadel, which is pretty cool. So big moves coming from Telegram. Toncoin, I assume, would have moved a little bit from this. Maybe not. I don't know. Everything is red today. 1% down, and not a lot of volatility. This rise we covered yesterday was because they partnered with Grok. They will be implementing Grok AI into Telegram. That's why Toncoin had a good rise yesterday. Today, it's kind of chilled out at the top. I had a quick short there at Toncoin and took some quick profits. Easy snipe. No big deal. Anyway, moving on. Bybit has been granted Mika license in Austria, so expansion, more accessibility to other countries and people who can purchase Bitcoin and crypto, which is a good thing, right? It means they could legally operate in the European Union under the Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation. That's what MiCA stands for. Effective December 2024. What? Okay, this is old news then. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's been finally approved. Oh yeah, this is also what I wanted to talk about with Ethereum's rise of last night. Why did Ethereum do this over here? Here's why. Meta apparently will be launching stablecoins on Ethereum this year. And of course we know that Meta has 3.5 billion users who will now have exposition to stablecoins in the crypto space. They're going to be using Ethereum for it, so that's very bullish for Ethereum. And this came out yesterday. So we saw a good pump from that. Also, just on a side note, apparently Meta will be opening physical stores. I don't know for what. Maybe to sell VRs. What else does Meta sell? The glasses, the augmented reality glasses, right? Maybe that. What else do they sell? I mean, WhatsApp, Facebook products, Messenger. I really don't know. Like, I'm trying to think, but what would they sell? Literally, yeah. What are they going to sell? I'm not the only one who thinks that. I'm glad the comments back me up on that. NVIDIA had a great day yesterday. That's why I pasted, this. I don't know why I still have it copied. That's so funny. Let's go to NVIDIA. Had a great rise over here from very good earnings that it reported yesterday, which I confirmed with you guys. Went from 134 to 143, flipping those two digits around. That is a 6% rise for NVIDIA, which is not that bad. And Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, will be selling $800 million worth of NVIDIA stock which that's why we didn't continue rising, because they're like, oh, this guy's already taken profits. What does he know? I don't know. People are thinking insider stuff. Probably not. Sui, I don't know what this is. Claynosaurs apparently will be launching, I don't know, some Popkins. Just thought I would share this, I guess. A new game is coming out on Sui. Sui is big into gaming now, and they even changed their profile picture, right? To this stuff to celebrate Popkins Unleashed. What is this? Oh, yeah. They're also allocating $10 million to improve their cybersecurity so that they don't get their chains hacked again. Not their chains, but their, you know, liquidity pool, dexes, whatever it was, whatever CETUS is. All right, let's talk about Canada. Our beloved Hudson's Bay company that went bankrupt, a store that sells a lot of stuff, has now been acquired and purchased by a Chinese billionaire from British Columbia. Her name is Ruby Liu. I think I reported that she was going to be purchasing, and today she finalized the deal. Canada's oldest company is now in the hands of this lady. She celebrates with her Mandarin friends and family, I guess. All right. I mean, it's not too bad, I guess. Like, depends on what she does with it, but it's just sad to see Hudson's Bay just gone now, and now in the hands of, I guess, whatever these people do. I don't know. She's a mall owner. She will be buying 28 Hudson's Bay store leases. All right. Well, good luck, I guess. Only 28 though. Like, come on. We got a lot more around the I was gonna say the globe, around the country. But yeah, of course, we have only the Liberal government, I would say, to blame for the closure of Hudson's Bay. I think so. Come on. It was after the tariff stuff that they started announcing, like, okay, yeah, by the way, we're gonna go bankrupt real quick. So, yeah. I mean, everybody else is feeling this too. Canadians are missing their credit card payments at levels we have not seen in years, which surprises me. Even as bad as since pandemic times, I was a collector for credit cards, and it was pretty bad during COVID. But apparently it's worse now, and I'm glad I'm not working as that anymore, so yeah. Recent H&R Block survey. H&R Block is some financial company in Canada. They claim that 85% of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck. Obviously not good. Whereas the savings stuff, the economy's not good. Bottom line. And traffic is not getting any better. New study reveals that the average Toronto driver spends 142 hours per year stuck in traffic, resulting in an economic cost of $6 billion annually for the city. I'm hoping we build new highways or something, improve the infrastructure, or just like, I don't know, a lot of population, I guess, going on. A lot of immigration that happened. Housing costs cannot keep up with it. Liberal government's to blame, in my opinion. Just humble opinion. Anyway, and then we got this as well. Like, what is this? I don't even know if this is real news or not. I'll fact check this with Grok, but Toronto is going back to segregation and full-on racism. The city is opening a black-only homeless shelter, and it will be run by black people only. No experience needed, you just need to be black to work there. What could go wrong? My gosh, Canada is going backwards daily in every kind of way. Let's see. I guess this is like more pro-DEI. I don't even know. Like, this is just excluding every other race that's not black. 9% of the city's population is black. They make 31% of the homeless population. Okay. It's like that thing where, oh, they're 16% of the population but commit 60% of the crimes. I think that's in the United States, that rhetoric. I have nothing, of course, against them. I'm just saying, like, this is the statistics that have been coming up. Policy waives experience requirements for staff, raising concerns. Okay, it seems like it's not fake, at least, so there's potential violations of Ontario Human Rights Code, which prohibits discrimination in services based on race. So, I mean, yeah, will this even go through yet? I don't know. But yeah, that's the state of Toronto and Canada, if you really wanted to know. Alright, how are we holding up? Seems like the drop has slowed down for now, but I still warned, like, if this If this continues, if no other sentiment changes, even if we do get volatility toward the negative side, which would be for the PCE data that we'll be getting tomorrow, yeah, expect a downtrend for Bitcoin. Maybe we continue rising and just make another high at 109 and then drop again. Could also be the case. And here's the GDP growth rate, by the way, if you care. We were previously at 2.4%. We were expecting a drop of 0.3%, but it was actually 0.2%, so it wasn't as bad as expected. GDP still dropping, which is not good, but it's not as bad as we expected, right? Tariffs aren't as bad as we expected. All right. Core PC will be important tomorrow. And then next week, of course, only Friday is what I really care about. Non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. Great. That'll be all for today then. I'll end the stream here. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow, and I don't know, I might do some more research on what's going on with Russia, Ukraine. I'm seeing a lot of posts about it, and it's kind of been interesting me, that topic, so I might have something prepared. Might. No promises, but we shall see. Anyways, and I'll also get some dollars in here after I do my calculations, if I got them right. All right.